The SAF Code of Ethics. As SAF practitioners, we follow a code of ethics, which is the right and proper conduct necessary to bring about the greatest awareness for our clients. That's what we want, the best awareness for our clients. Following this presentation, a PDF of the Code of Ethics is to be printed out, signed by each practitioner, and it will be sent to and kept on file at the home office. Hello, my name is Kathy Scogna, and I will be presenting the SAF Code of Ethics today. It's very important work, and it's very important that you understand how we operate as SAF practitioners. Why have a Code of Ethics? Well, as you've seen for yourself in working with the SAF practitioner and in your own work with others, the Self-Awareness Formulas, or SAF, is an enlightening system of thought and a really powerful tool for helping people. Using these special techniques, we can learn about our past and our patterns, our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual patterns. This can be very personal work. Most practitioners and clients are surprised at how personal it can be. As Louise Hay has said, this SAF system will blow your mind. It is light years ahead of any other form of therapy, and I highly recommend it to anyone who really wants to release old patterns. Louise knew what she was talking about. She worked with an SAF practitioner back in the day, and she spoke with Joe Scogna several times. So she understood and understands SAF and the potential that it has. How to release old patterns. This is what you are studying now. How we can find a present time pattern and effect and go back in time by following the emotions to the cause. As practitioners, we work with the client to help them find and resolve old patterns that are affecting them in the present time, as if they were still living in the past. SAF sheds light into the darkness so we can see. As we work on the chain sequence with our client, the electrical charge associated with an emotional trauma or an upsetting event leaves the client, and when this happens, an electrical discharge occurs. As this release or electrical discharge takes place for the client, a release happens for us as well. Amazing as it sounds, this phenomenon is empowering for both the client and the practitioner. You can feel the electrical release as the client feels it. Therefore, it's essential not to abuse the power we have been given. When the past is in perspective, the present becomes synchronized. This is what we as practitioners want for our clients, a synchronized life. Just as medical doctors recite the Hippocratic Oath to complete their requirements, SAF practitioners must read, understand, and sign the SAF Code of Ethics. A copy will be kept on file at the home office. The following Code of Ethics and brief explanations are for our SAF practitioners. Number 1. I promise to do my workups for clientele in an ethical manner to the best of my ability. Of course, we hope that is understood. It's essential for you to be in the SAF program wholeheartedly and continue to increase your own knowledge, as this will ultimately help your clients. Number 2, I promise to affirm a client, an active participant in the SAF method, and to never intimidate. It's very important to maintain an extremely professional attitude about your work with the client when using the SAF programs. Many people will come to you for assistance, and most will not be very aware of their situation. In particular, they won't be aware of their symptoms and the causes of these. SAF can help you to pinpoint some areas that need their attention, and it's important to be positive with them and encourage them to continue increasing their own awareness. In the past, other types of practitioners, family members, or even friends may have used a tactic with a client that was nothing less than straight-out intimidation. Intimidation in this case might mean using information that's been given to you in private and turning it around to intimidate or try to control that person, perhaps even frightening the client with dire consequences if they don't do as you say. As professionals, we strive to be forthright and non-threatening. Anything less than that would be considered intimidation of a client, and it's not something that we do as professional SAF practitioners. Number 3, I promise to be accepting of whatever action or information a client volunteers, and to never belittle the client, the action, or the information presented. If a client tells you something, don't make fun of him or her or make the client feel as if they should not have told it to you. Make certain that everything you hear from the client you accept without any hesitation, without any prejudice or preconceived ideas and notions. Number 4, I promise to understand what condition is near and dear to the client and to never make nothing of it. Sometimes you'll have clients who have what seem to you to be small problems, a problem such as a cut on the finger. Because of the energy situation they are in, this cut can seem like the end of the world to them. If a client says that he's having some trouble or some problem with a certain condition of energy, then it must be confronted in the same manner as all conditions. Accept it at that level. Follow the protocols of chain reading as taught, and you may learn some amazing information that will enlighten you as well. Number 5, I promise to encourage a client to move ahead in the program and not hold him or her back. I promise to encourage the client to read other Scogna books and to study SAF if it relates to the client. In this way, the client is able to take greater responsibility and can better assist the practitioner in the release work. An educated client is always better. Be available to give assistance when it's needed. When the client is finished with the program, he should be set on his own or directed to SAF books or training if it would work out for him for the next higher level. Don't stop them from progressing to another level of awareness for themselves. To do so would be unethical and truly not fair. Some clients have worked very hard to reach the point where they can learn and accept these new principles and understandings of life energy. SAF can make a tremendous difference in people's lives. Number 6, I promise to give help where and when help is needed. If someone requests or requires that you help him or her, be available to help with the chain. Keep a good schedule. This does not say that you have to help at 3 in the morning, but keep regular hours with some open time, so if you do receive a call for help, you're able to do it. Number 7, I promise to work with the client as long as I'm needed to educate the client in SAF principles, awareness, and lifestyle changes, and to acknowledge the self-awareness and self-knowledge he or she has already attained. There have been unscrupulous professionals and other practices who, for financial reasons or issues of control, wanted to hold on to a client. We operate a different way with SAF. Once a client is flowing along in the SAF program and is doing really well, it's important that you mention this to them. Encourage the next step, their own education in these principles, starting with different books and training levels if necessary. This is not to say we discourage you from building a practice around SAF or even discourage you from making a living. That's not the case at all. We as SAF practitioners are interested in increasing the awareness level of people, and that means all people. You will find this goodwill of encouraging the client's own education in SAF will actually increase your clientele base because your client will tell his or her friends, family, and acquaintances about your good work. Number 8, I promise to allow the client to be his or her own judge and counsel, to encourage each one to develop self-control over and to take responsibility for their own condition and situations. Remember, as SAF professionals, we do not want to take responsibility for the client's condition if that belongs to the client. We're not trying to cure him or her. We are merely there as a guide to help with the client's energy systems and to help each one to understand more about how they can grow in awareness and learn to develop self-control. And that begins with responsibility for self. Number 9, I promise to be forthright and courageous in the face of any condition or situation presented by the client. When dealing with the mind and the spirit, almost anything can manifest itself, and as an SAF practitioner, you must be ready for it. You must possess the wherewithal in your own confronting mechanisms to be able to put up with any scene of energy, any dramatizations that may come your way. There are drills and programs in SAF that can be used to practice and increase this talent, and it is a talent. But to start with, you will need a bit of understanding and compassion in order to face some of the ideas and concepts that may be unleashed. If you can face it, if you can confront it full on, it will make you 10 times stronger than the client who delivered it to you. And as a part of a team, you and your client, your strength will help and encourage the client through the troubling issue. Number 10, I promise to always be willing to communicate. Again, this is a statement that you, as an SAF practitioner, should be available when a client needs you. If you can't be present or you're busy with someone else, make sure you follow through and communicate as soon as you're able to. There might be some information pertinent to the client's situation that may help shed light on and dissolve the case issues for them. And remember to follow Code of Ethics number 5 and encourage the client to read books on SAF. Number 11, I promise to never exaggerate a condition. Again, in the past and in other practices, there have been some practitioners who have made cases seem larger and more frightening than they actually were, just to stress to the client or drive home the importance that the client continue with the program. Perhaps it was meant as part of a hyper sales job where the practitioner tried to relay the urgency of continuing with sessions and visits, or the practitioner used the tactic as a means to keep the client on the hook, so to speak. See again Code of Ethics number 7. We are here to help, not terrify. The exaggeration of a condition must be curtailed. It's really not allowed with SAF. Number 12. I promise to keep administration of the SAF chain sequence work precise, accurate, and standard. This is best done with the SAF online process. I promise to never alter the contents under any circumstances. As an SAF practitioner, you have been trained in several different ways of chain reading, all with the goal of increasing the awareness and knowledge of your clients. It is important to keep all your paperwork in order and never change anything on the papers. This makes it easier to keep track of clients' workups and record the progress made. Save their casework in your own files. In the future, when working with the same client, you may want to revisit earlier work for reference, create a super chain, or follow diametric chain evaluations, which is available in Level 3. The SAF Online service keeps the paperwork standard and simple, storing it for future use. But it is best to copy and save it in your own files, your computer files, or in your own office files. Hard copies. Number 13. I promise to continue my own SAF education so that I can be as bright as I can be, so that I can be the best SAF practitioner that I can be. This goes almost without saying, but is so true. If you're going to do a thing, you might as well do it all the way, full steam ahead. Don't hesitate. Be the best at whatever you want to be, but most certainly, if you plan to be an SAF practitioner, make sure that you have your intentions on it as strongly as possible. This is where you will receive your greatest rewards. Be sure to continue with your own SAF studies through books and other courses. As Xenia Richler has said, she's with the Academy of Bioenergetics, people on the SAF program are understanding and realizing their own potential. Doing the program has helped my clients, 1, to be more aware of how their thoughts are affecting their health, 2, to understand how the environment and other people affect them, and 3, to see new opportunities and new ways to create happier lives for themselves. All practitioners who are enrolled in the SAF Roadmap training course are required to sign and date the SAF Code of Ethics, and this will be sent to the home office where it will be kept on file, as mentioned previously. Your seminar leader will provide a PDF for you to sign. Thank you so much for listening today.